Soul Garden.
Hi everybody, it's Christopher Witecki here, coming live from my home studio, giving you an update on the planets, an update on everything going on in my life, and everything going on with soul horoscopes and everything. We are upon ourselves a very powerful lunar eclipse. In fact, this is the final lunar eclipse of 2012, and in this video I'm actually just going to get straight to the pure astrology of it. But before I do get to the astrology of it to get you through, I want to give you a couple announcements while I have your attention. One is thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for purchasing Act 4 videos. Thank you so much for continuing the cycle of flow. We're co-creating together, and when you make a purchase at Soulmart, you are helping us go on, and you are getting the horoscopes to you faster. I have been reinventing the horoscopes for the new age. And this is a whole nother approach to telling horoscopes. I'm extremely excited. For me, it's a new era for how I get to tell the stories. And I think that I'll have them up this week. They're almost done, but they have their own pace, their own birth. And I want to remind you that I'm a human being, and I'm going through the same astrology that you are. And so I've been tired, I've been nauseous, I've been having a hard time focusing, I've been having all these things too. So I'm trying to be a leader and also be there for myself at the same time. Actually trying to be myself first and then be a leader second. That's the new age. And we are upon the new age. I'm recording this with the sun in 6 degrees Sagittarius, and we are 23 days away from the Mayan shift. For those of you who don't understand the Mayan shift or haven't researched it, I don't have time to get into it right now with you. But at the end of the day, I will show you in this horoscope video or in this video why today in this next 24 hours is super important and why the Mayan shift is important. And the Mayans do get the credit. They are the most accurate astrologers in world history as far as I can tell. I'd love to get in that debate with anybody, but they are correct. The Earth is going to be reborn, so to speak, in the next 23 days. It's already happening, and this lunar eclipse that we're about to live is us cutting off the dead weight of the hot air balloon. So we're about to cut off the dead weight of the hot air balloon and allow ourselves to, for those who are ready to lead, you will now begin to ascend, which means life will become lighter and your magic will become more potent. Mine already is, I have to say, to share some private things. I don't want to make any announcements yet, but in the last 45 days, every single solitary thing I love and want to come true has begun to. Every single solitary dream I've ever had. It's full rainbow happening at the same time. I'm overwhelmed. I don't have enough time in the day to enjoy everything blossoming. And I enjoy doing the horoscopes. I enjoy connecting to you guys. I've enjoyed making the new horoscopes. It's total joy for me. And that is what the new reality is, joy, okay? So put very simply, we live in a reality called duality. And I can't get into all this right now, but we're going to shift to quadality. We're going to go from duality to quadality. That is the ascension in mathematics, okay? Now we've been working on quantum physics for a long time, trying to break into the quad reality, right? Quadality. This lunar eclipse is the beginning of starting to live in quadality, which means we are considering 4 points in reality every moment instead of considering 2 points in reality. The first shift into 4 points in reality in the moment is that we let go of our duality and the ideas of our duality. Okay, so this lunar eclipse is at 6 degrees Gemini. Excuse me, yes, lunar eclipse. And that is a very early chapter 1 portion of the spectrum of Gemini consciousness. In fact, in that beginning spectrum of consciousness, the 6th degree, that's what I do, by the way, as I'm a degree expert, the 6th degree is the degree in the mind where the mind is seeking to find balance. Okay? So we're seeking balance at 6 degrees. We're seeking intellectual balance at 6 degrees. And so what this lunar eclipse is going to do is thump that 6th degree so hard, and thump other areas so hard at the same time in your soul, okay, it will hopefully get you to let go of the lower vibration thinking, Gemini, that's tied to your feelings, the moon. So how my feelings and my thoughts come together. It is how your feelings and your thoughts come together, not in the world, not in your relationships, not at work, inside of you. Chapter 1, the first level of consciousness of Gemini, which is the presence or not presence of information. So what we're seeking is to have a presence of information that is at peace in the very base level of our thinking and emotions and where they come together. And this lunar eclipse will thump that foundation so hard that if you are hanging on to things that throw your intellectual, emotional balance off, if you're hanging on to things like obsessive thinking about your ex or any kind of obsessive thought, it's going to get really shitty, okay? Because thoughts that do not allow you to graduate to a higher circle of thinking are going to make you sick and hold you down. This is because we can't have our basic Gemini consciousness polluted with imbalance, because the universe is trying to move up to the second decan in this transition to quadality. Okay? So in this moment, to put it really simply, I'm going to look at the planets with you. We're going to take a look at the planets, what's going on. I can't, of course, do it for all 12 right now. I'm racing to get the new age horoscopes done. I would have loved to have them done by now, but I'm working with space-time just like you, and so there are limits. But I'll tell you a couple things. One is, if you were a subscriber of GA, the Guardian Agency, I just want some things to be clear. I write these text messages every day, every night, all day long. I am the one guarding and watching over people. Some people thought it was software. It's not software, it's me. Sorry, maybe I marketed that a little too hard. But the truth of the matter is it's me 24/7. So when I'm in these down periods of time for $5, which is, a Starbucks. I mean, I can't tell you what $5 is. People tell me it's too much money. I'm like, I've made it as so cheap as possible. I can't make it any cheaper. But for $5, which is what you throw in the basket on church on Sunday, you'd throw in a 5, or would you throw in a 1? But what would you throw in as thank you for this? You will get me watching over for you 24 hours a day, and you will never have me go down, because that's my first priority, and they have videos and all kinds of things. So that's that for those who are concerned about not having my assistance. And when you're in my co-creation energy and there's a cycle of give and take, we're going to do amazing things together. The other thing I want to show you is, let's go on to, is a Lightcast report card. And this may sound like a sales pitch. I don't care. It is a sales pitch because I'm showing you something I invented that is really cool that I'm going to base the horoscopes on. What this is I take your date of birth and we process it into a new way of looking at astrology, which is part of what the horoscopes will now be based on, is this new way of looking at astrology. I think this new way of looking at astrology is a better way of looking at astrology. It's based on 10 years of me doing amazing readings for people, and I have come to realize there's a way that works better, and that's what you're paying for. But what this is dividing who you are and your chart into some very powerful quantum important understandings of how your soul works. I break down how your soul works in all 3 decans, what your root intentions are, who you are, all this sort of stuff. And I bring this up because, if you want to buy one, they're on soulmart.me, okay, wonka wonka, and they're $45 because an astrologer, a human being, actually sits down, does it, double checks it again. When you have your report card, it's going to open up a whole new level to the horoscopes for you, because I'm building in reference points to your chart so you can follow along each week. I'm also building into the new horoscopes. They're timeless. So they're focusing on certain sectors of astrological orbits and not calendar times. And so the new horoscopes are lined up to where you can powerfully go along with me, or you can just get what you've always gotten for free. Okay, so I'm just trying to be better. These are at soulmart.me. These support our staff. These support our junior astrologers who are learning this whole trade and growing with us. And these support me. They keep me on the air and keep me here. It's 11:25 at night, and I'm recording this for you right now. So let's look at the planets. This is a cool new technology that I've been investing in. A lot of time I spend is on technology so that I can come faster to you. This basically is the lineup of the planets. And what are they going to be? This is November 28, 2012. And at 6:47 a.m. in Los Angeles, because that's where I live, so that's what I care about, we're going to have where the sun is at 6:47 and the moon is at 6 degrees 47 opposite Gemini. That is a eclipse. That's the eclipse point. Notice this green triangle. That is called a yod. So that is God giving us the finger. And what is God saying to us? God is saying, I think I can get closer here. I did some cool stuff. Check this out. Wonk, wonk. Oh, yep, here we go. Here's my closer one. Wonk, wonk. All right, so what God is saying here in Gemini is do this. You see that little circle with a cross in it? That's called the part of fortune. I can't get into that either, but it's also in your report card. Above that is Lilith, the black Lilith. That is past life rage. That is forced up. So this is what you get with me in the reading. Then on top of that is Jupiter at 11, a holy 11, which if you don't know is a healing number. So you have this 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 20. I'm not going to tell you what the object is there at 20. It's too complicated. But the truth of the matter is there is a party going on in Gemini. It is going all the way up here, okay? All the way up. Across the seas is the sun at 6 degrees also. The north node is at the sun. That's God telling us where to go. We have some other planets here. Do you see this GAL 26, 27 degrees? That's the galactic center. When the sun, this little circle, hits the galactic center, we are going to go through the Mayan transition. This will be the end of the old 24,000 year cycle and the beginning of the new 24,000 year cycle. This is what the Mayans had calculated to the degree. This is what the Mayans built the pyramids for. They built the pyramids so that when the universe opens up for 7 minutes, amazing energy would fly into these pyramids and they would be trapped forever in the bouncing of the angles of the pyramids. That's why the Mayans built it, so that when you, after 2012, lived in their culture, which they did not expect would go extinct, that you would live in this vibrational enlightenment by being in the city walls. When you're outside the city walls, you would lose the enlightenment. Enlightenment is vibrationally things are high. When people take drugs, they simulate this highness, okay? Simulate, it's not real. But they're vibrationally. So as the sun moves down this, dun, 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 starts to storm to where it has a galactic, where it conjuncts with the galactic center of the universe, the Milky Way. There's a black hole there, okay? They will line up perfectly, just as the lunar eclipse is lining up perfectly today. They will line up perfectly. And that will be the end and birth of a new age. Then the sun will hit Pluto. What is that? Death. We immediately start destroying, and so there is a collapse of reality that starts to happen through the new year, you know, through Christmas, right? Christmas is Christmas is technically 3 degrees usually. So on Christmas we're feeling the new age. Notice that on this day Mars is on top of Pluto exactly at 8 degrees. Okay, that's today. This is today's chart, but I was giving you a little forward of where the sun will end up. So we're going to be on countdown with the new horoscopes, where the new horoscopes are based after we go to past the galactic center and preparing you for the galactic center. But let's get back to today, shall we? So looking at today, bear with me, I'm learning this interface. So looking at the whole thing, what do we do, Christopher? What do we do? Well, I'm so glad you asked. At the end of the day, what's most important? What's most important is what God is pointing the finger to, your emotions, the moon at 6 degrees, where your emotions meet harmony with what? Gemini, your mind, where emotions and mind meet. Buddha taught us that enlightenment is when the mind is focused on the heart. End of story. That's enlightenment. Nothing else is enlightenment but that. When the mind is doing nothing but making the heart happy, you move into the key unlocks and you get to go into play with the new age. If you don't go as high as possible between now and the end of this month, I'm sorry, we'll see you up there. Okay, that's the attitude of the universe and mine too. Like, I've worked too hard, 20 years, fuck this shit. All right, so, and for those of you who say I cuss too much, I'm sorry, it's who I am. Welcome to the party. All right, so here we are. So what are we going to do? Let's look at all the points of interest. First of all, what is the yod looking at, right? So let's look at the yod. The yod is looking at, excuse me when I go to my close-up, wonka wonk, it's over here in the white, but here she comes. All right, the yod is pointing to this. Saturn and Venus, which are conjunct, which means their energies come into a oneness. Saturn is saying it is time to make decisions at the 6th degree. What's the 6th degree? Balance again, but this time balance of boundaries. So 6 is we must draw our emotional boundaries to maintain emotional boundaries. So we're cutting away the past boundaries and the past rules. What is Venus giving and receiving? And so as we cut away, we give and receive the controlling boundaries. 8 is control. The controlling boundaries that are necessary to pull this all together. So cut away the shit that makes us imbalanced and open up and receive what basically are the new boundaries, right? Mercury is now direct at 18 degrees, which says, okay, let's think forward. Let's think forward about the actions we have to take based on these decisions. You see the 8 in the Mercury 8 and then the 8 in Venus? Not a coincidence, but I can't go into all that now. We'll pass these guys. These are just too much right now. And then the other side. So at the same time that you're doing this, then again, crazy 8s going on. Magic, that's the infinity symbol if you don't know, on its side. But infinity says, okay, you must make infinity the new death, which is Pluto. So today we're actually Mars taking action on the death. Today we take action Mars on the death Pluto, the death that once the sun reaches, the whole Earth will be at. But until the Earth gets there, we're going to light cast it today for tomorrow's present. Because remember, the present is the present. The present is the past. So today we made it yesterday. We're making in this lunar eclipse your after Christmas feelings by the nature of the way all the energies are tied in together at this moment, okay? So you must decide to let the old life die. Let the old life die, says Pluto, and act on the new life. Make a decision, which is an incision in consciousness. What's the incision? The line between the two zeros. What's zero? Zero is God, infinity. So the 8 says, make a decision between the two zeros, cut these two zeros. 1 0 is going to go off and be the old life. 1 0 is going to go with the new life. And then the same thing, Mars making those cuts. Who's going to take us to the new life? Mars, our action, our ego. So your cockiness is going to get you through this. Your cocky ego will get you through this. Ego isn't so bad, is it, Master Lightworkers? At the same time, you're doing this surgery where you're making decisions, Saturn, to live in balance with emotional boundaries, Scorpio. And Venus is creating, give and receive, new 8s, new crazy 8s that keep you tied up, energy going in infinity, up and holding this space on this side. That's the foundation. This all pours into living emotionally, allowing you to emote and feel this transition. So you want to feel this new reality. You want to feel and allow yourselves to emote it. Don't overfeel it. We're talking about 6 minutes, 6 degrees, 47 minutes here. We don't want to overfeel it, but obviously, if you want to get super specific, we want to feel it just before it crops over 50. So if you're like a crazy neuroscientist, metaphysician, go ahead and go for 6 degrees, 47 minutes. I don't aim that high because the universe takes care of it. Lilith says, look at Lilith, also at 8 degrees, saying we're going to make some new decisions. But what is Lilith making a decision about? She is saying, I want 1 0. You take one of these zeros, and that's the past life rage that has to go. One of these zeros now, the child goes forward into the new reality. We let go of past life rage and we move on to the next rage coming up. That's where we have zeros going on here. Part of fortune at 7 degrees. God is 7, so God is helping us. Your intuition will guide you through this if you are lost with the emotion. And your intuition is been attuned by God to the part of fortune, which is where you should point. Jupiter just multiplies the whole experience. So Jupiter is simply adding ridiculous sugar, but notice that Jupiter adds healing sugar. You get 1 part to one side and 1 part to the other. So both sides of whatever you're doing today are sponsored by God, which is Jupiter. So you've been sponsored by God in this whole thing. Okay? So at the end of the day, what does this come down to? This comes down to a release ceremony. So I'm going to do one last thing here. I'm going to walk you through a release. For those of you who thinks this is goofy or dumb, well, you go outside and play and let the elders do this, okay? For those of you who understand what we're doing, we're going to do this. So this is some of what goes on in my Master Shui classes where I teach people the secret master formulas. They are a secret, and they're a secret because you don't want idiots, pardon me, you don't want idiots manifesting crap, right? And it's about who respects get in. So when you are doing a release ceremony, you are anti-light casting because we are going to anti-light cast this old life, which are basically the weights weighing you down in the old world, which is basically the key to your enlightenment when the mind crossover happens. So by releasing this dead weight, you are anti-light casting. So we're going to do the 13 steps of light casting backwards. And if you've taken any of my classes, you know what these are. And this is the Secret Master formula backwards. All right, they don't want me to reveal 13 and 12. So I'm going to listen to my guide. Step 11. For those of you who want to know step 12, I guess you have to take the class. Light casting 101, step 11, and so it is. So we had said in our lives, struggle is my life, and so it is. And that's basically why you've been struggling. So today, in the release of the lunar eclipse, you say, and so it isn't. My life is so not struggling anymore, and so it isn't. And so it isn't. So we are unzipping our childhood consciousness, and we are unzipping the spell that makes reality, which are the 13 steps. Don't worry about 12 and 13. I'm picking up on people because it has to do really with manifesting. It doesn't have to do with unmanifesting, okay? You don't need to understand that part. That part's already been done by the planets. So step 11, and so it isn't, okay? Step 10, because I said so. So this is where you go, I take it back. I don't want a life of struggle. I don't say it. I take it back. I unmanifest it, I uncast it, I take it back. Life is not a struggle. I am not alone. Life will not be miserable. These are the grounds and the emotional baggage that is in us. So I take it back. It did not happen. I take the actions back, okay? Let me see if I can. I have to zoom this around. So step 9 is I am. Excuse me. These are big slides. Step 9 is I am. So you're going to say in step 9, I take my actions back. I revoke my actions that have said I was going to suffer. I revoke the actions that went to this. I now decide. I change my decision. I am not, the last guy that wins. I am not this. I am not that. I decide. I take it away. I decide. I am not living in misery. I didn't grow up in a hard childhood. You go all the way back to, and you deny and decide it is not your reality anymore. This is the cutting ceremony. I sense this is correct. My guides tell me this is correct. So this is an interesting step you learn in my class, but this step has to do with connecting and getting your guides, your guardian agents' approval. And they approve because they have the master plan in action. I balance this step 6, so it's like this is also an undoing. So I let this go because it was not in balance. It throws off my balance. It did not honor step 6. We're undoing the manifestation of misery and sorrow. It's not going to happen anymore because it threw off my balance. I think it's the best thing for me, so my mind is on board. So you're getting each state of awareness on board with letting this go, step by step. You can review this video to go through this. I don't belong miserable. I don't belong alone. I don't belong suffering. I don't. Denying this light cast and undoing it. I don't believe in it anymore. I don't believe that this is the right thing. I don't. We're undoing our belief structure. We're undoing our feelings. I don't feel this misery anymore. I don't feel like the last guy finishing last. I don't feel like this old reality anymore. I don't love suffering anymore. Step 1. Now we're at the core of it. There is a part of you that loved it. This is the part that's unwilling to let go. There's a weird benefit from suffering, and it's love that's been displaced. If you decide to love without suffer, take it back to step 1, the love, and you love without suffering, this is the undoing. This is what the lunar eclipse is going to help you shed by making life more vulnerable than usual. Then the secret step 0, our hero, where is step 0? Did I not put step 0 in here? Here it is. Step 0. I protect. So at the very end of this release, I release and I protect. Nothing bad can happen ever because I am God. Nothing bad can happen because I am God. I am God and you are God. God is the top of the crazy 8. We are the colorful manifestation of the bottom. Reality is a crazy 8 of energy from the high frequencies of your higher self down to the lower colors that are spread. Just as the white light spreads into the spectrum, the whole soul spreads into an incarnation. So we can never be hurt because we are simply a thread of God pulled down that snaps back. And you must protect what you're doing by saying, I am God, nothing bad can ever happen to me. But so are you, and so are you, and so are you. All right? So thank you. This is a 23-minute video. Wow, groovy. I'm so grateful to be able to share these new quantum things with you. I have been getting restless in the same repetitive horoscopes. I've had a hard time trying to make this last mile. For those who are coming with us, for those who are invested at $5 a week or whatever in their report cards, you invest in yourself, I'll invest in you. We're going to go on a hot air balloon ride into the new reality. I'm already seeing miracles happen like this, and I'll be bragging about it, you know, to encourage you to play too in the new vibrations of light. We're getting ultraviolet, we're getting new colors open up to us. And for those of you who think I'm crazy, fine, I am in your world. All right, that's all I have for this time. I will be back with the horoscopes as soon as they're done, which I think will be by the end of the week because I'm really excited to show them to you and they're still going to be valid. Until then, gratitude, namaste, I love you, live, love, be, and I'll see you next time.